Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now what I have for you guys today is I have a season review for the Preston North End season in the 2015/16 season. Now before I get into this video guys, I have to say apologies. I was actually going to make this video last week, but the reason I couldn't make it last week is because I had a really bad voice. I thought that, you know what, I'm just not going to bother. You know, I did actually record the video, but my voice was just absolutely awful, and I didn't think you guys would want to listen to me with, you know, a really croaky voice. So I decided to redo the video and do it now when hopefully the video quality will be a lot better. So apologies for that. And also guys, I have to say a quick mention as well. Over the next probably 3 or 4 weeks, I'm probably not going to be uploading. Now that's not to say that, you know, I'm quitting YouTube or anything like that. I'm definitely not stopping YouTube. And you know, it's not to say I'm running out of motivation to do it or anything like that. Basically it's because I've got my GCSEs. My first exam is actually on Tuesday, so I've got to really prioritize doing revision over making YouTube videos at the moment, which I know it's not what I want to be doing really, but it's something that I have to do really. And so I'm not saying that I'm not going to upload for the next like 4 weeks or so, but I'm saying don't expect an upload. But throughout the summer I'll be uploading absolutely loads guys. I'll be getting back on it then, and so yeah, apologies for that guys, but I just need to say that at the start of the video. Okay guys, so what I'm going to be doing for this season review guys, I'm going to be going over every individual player and basically giving them a rating out of 10. Now basically when people normally like to give a player a rating out of 10, it's normally pretty vague and it's hard to, you know, compare, because some version, you know, someone's version of a season, say a player saying like let's say like a 6 for the season, some people have different interpretations of what that actually means. So what I decided to do, I decided to put a word next to every number which sort of correlates to what I think it means. So as you can see to the screen to the side of me, if a player plays a 1, that means they've been abysmal this season. A 2 is awful, 3 very poor, 4 poor, 5 average, 6 solid, 7 good, 8 very good, 9 fantastic, and 10 exceptional. So there's what I think I mean guys, and let me know in the comments down below as well when I go through all these players. If you agree or disagree with me, just let me know in the comments down below. Obviously we got to of course start out by saying Preston have had a fantastic season, so whatever ratings I give the rest of the players, you know, I can't take anything away from them because we've had an absolutely fantastic season. We've more than exceeded my expectations by finishing in the top half of the table, guys. But like I said, now guys, let's get into the first set of players. Now, something that I also must have all mentioned before I actually talk about why I've given these certain players their ratings. The rating I've given their players isn't how good I actually think they are, it's how good they performed this season. So, me giving an indication of what number that I think they got for this season, how well they played, is no, you know, indication of how good I actually think they are as a footballer, but that's just how well I think they played this season. So, as you can see to the side of me, guys, there are the goalkeepers that we've used this season. I'm not actually going to be going over every single player we've used this season, because that would take absolutely ages. But I'm just going to be going through basically, you know, the first team players we've had this season. So start off with, of course, I've got to talk a little bit about Jordan Pickford. He's just been absolutely exceptional, and I could give him nothing else than a 10. He was just absolutely insane when he was at Preston, and if we were able to get him next season, it won't happen, but if we were able to, that would just be, I'd just be over the moon, absolutely. But Jordan Pickford, I can't say anything more about him. He's getting a 10. And then to our 3 goalkeepers. Obviously we've used quite a lot of goalkeepers this season, most of which being on a loan, but next player we have is Sam Johnson. I decided to give him a 6. I thought that he wasn't outstanding when he came back to Preston, but obviously we didn't really get to see much of him, so I decided to give him a 6 because he was solid, but we only saw him for 4 games, so it was difficult to give Sam Johnson a rating really, because obviously we've not seen him much. Chris Kirkland, I thought he's been very poor this season, if I'm being completely honest. That's why I decided to give him a 3. You know, I'm glad he's been released, really. He was never really up to it, in my opinion, to be a number 2 goalkeeper. Obviously, there's talks of us now getting Chris Maxwell as a number 2 goalkeeper, so I'd be more than happy with that, but Kirkland not too impressed by. And then Andres Lindegaard, I've actually thought he had a very good season for us, and that's why I decided to give him a 7 out of 10. I actually think that he made quite a few, he's made quite a few mistakes towards, you know, the last few matches in the season, but that's not taking away anything that he's done for us this season. I thought he's come up with some absolutely massive saves for us if you look back at the games he's played, and he's just an all-around excellent shot stopper, so that's the reason I've given him a 7. And now guys, going into our defenders, so starting out with the player of the year for Preston North End, it's of course Greg Cunningham. I couldn't give him anything else from a 10. He's won player of the season this year, so it had to be a 10. He's just been so solid this season, and the fact that we picked him up on the free is just absolutely, it still blows my mind that we were able to do that from Bristol City. I still can't believe it, but Greg Cunningham, absolutely fantastic season. I voted for him as my player of the season, and he deservedly won that in my opinion. So I'm giving him a 10 because I thought he's been absolutely exceptional this year, if I'm being honest. And a player who I've really felt has stepped up front this year from last season. Last season I was a bit hit and miss really with my ideas on Callum Woods, but this season he's been absolutely phenomenal for me. The only thing that's held Woods back this season is he's had a couple of injuries which have really hindered his season, but when he has been in the squad I thought he's been absolutely excellent this season. That's why I decided to give him an 8 out of 10. I really do think he's had a very good season this year. And then guys, to Tom Clark. Now I'll decide to give him a 5 this season. You may think that's a bit harsh, but honestly I think Tom Clark, to his standards at least, has had a bit of an average season this year really. Obviously he's been part of the back line which has been incredibly solid all year round, but Tom Clark, I feel like he's made quite a few individual errors this season, and I don't think he's been performing to his optimum, which we all know he's capable of, seeing him from last season from League One. So hopefully that's just a blip. Maybe I'm being too harsh on him. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of that, but I decided to give him a 5. I think he's been pretty average. But anyway, I decided then to give a 7. I thought he's had a good season for Preston this year, so that's the reason I've decided to give him a 7. And then I've given 2 players a 6, that being Huntington and Vermeil. I thought those two have been solid this season. Vermeil, I was when he came into Preston, I think I was with a lot of fans when I was a big doubter of Vermeil, but he's more than proved me wrong, and he's been fantastic, especially towards the second end of the season. And now guys, to our midfield. So the first player that I decided to go for is Gallagher. I decided to give him a 9 out of 10. I thought that Gallagher's been a fantastic player this year, our second best player this year, if I'm being honest, outfield player that is, and Gallagher's just been absolutely instrumental for us this season. Going forward, he just provides so much for us, and you know, the time when he was injured for a little bit and he was out of the team, we were just lacking so much in creativity in the midfield, and he just plays such a pivotal role to our squad. I just had to give him a 9 out of 10 because he's been absolutely fantastic this season. He's picked up a ton of assists and a ton of goals as well this season, and he's just continued his League One form into the Championship, and he's just been absolutely fantastic this season. I couldn't give him anything more than a 9. The reason I've not decided to give him a 10 and a 9 instead is because I feel like in a couple of matches this season he has gone missing 4 times, and you know, that's the only reason really why I've not decided to give him a 10. And then guys, to our next player, we actually have Alan Brown. I decided to give him an 8 out of 10. I'm actually a massive fan of Alan Brown. He's probably one of my favourite players. He's just been so good this season, and he's just, every game he seems to be improving as well, which I really like about Alan Brown. I think we'll keep hold of him in the summer, and hopefully next season he'll just progress on even more, because Alan Brown has a massive future ahead of him. And now to the player who, this was probably the hardest decision I had to make, and that was what to give DJ as a rating out of 10 for our season, guys, because obviously this season he's finished as our top scorer with 9 goals, and towards the start of the season, up until January, he was playing like a 10 or a 9 or at least an 8 every single match. He was just so consistent at the start of the season, then up to January, and then after January, his form just went absolutely, he just, I can't even explain it. He just went down the drain straight away, and he just couldn't seem to pick himself back up. You know, probably, I'm going to say that's because, you know, he's still a young player. This is his full first season in the Championship, so hopefully towards the end, towards the start of next season, he'll be able to bounce straight back up in pre-season and at the start of next season as well. So hopefully this, you know, form's just been a bit of a blip. However, I do think that he stepped up in his last 3 games for Preston, so I decided to give him a 6.5 out of 10. Bit of a tough one, that one, really. And then I decided to give Adam Reach an 8 out of 10. I do actually hear that we are actually in discussions with Middlesbrough to see what they would like for a, you know, us potentially getting Reach on the permanent. That would just be absolutely fantastic. I'm an absolutely massive fan of Adam Reach. And then guys, I decided to give 3 more players a 6 out of 10. I think these players have all been solid for us this season. I decided to give John Welsh, Callum Robinson and Ben Pearson all 6 out of 10s. I like to see a bit more of Ben Pearson, but he's impressed me, especially towards the end of this season. He's been very good indeed. So 6 out of 10 for him. I think he's been solid. Next season, hopefully he'll kick on even more. And now guys, moving on to our strikers. This is the position that, as you can see, probably see by the ratings I've given these players, this is the position that we most need to strengthen in January, in this transfer window this summer, guys. But basically what I decided to give Garner a 6.5 out of 10. Some of you will disagree with that, some of you will probably agree with that. The reason I've decided to give Garner a 6.5 out of 10, I'm going to lay it out there straight away. He should have scored more goals this season. I'm just going to say that right now. He definitely should have scored more goals this season. And by that aspect, he's underachieved. And I think Garner will definitely be looking to improve on that next season, should he still be at Preston, which I hope he will be. And to be honest, I think he will be. The thing is with Garner, he's a crucial player and part of our team, really, because without him, the rest of our team seems to suffer because Garner just has this sort of presence of bringing other players into the game very well. He's got a lot of assists this season for a striker, and he's created a hell of a lot of chances for the position he's playing in. The only downside for Garner this season is, of course, he hasn't scored enough goals. Do you agree with 6.5 out of 10? Let me know in the comments down below. And then Jermaine Beckford, I struggle really to give Beckford the rating, as we've only seen him for about 4 or 5 matches towards the end of this season. I decided to give him a 6 because I thought that, you know, he's been solid towards his last games, but it was difficult to give him a rating, really, as he has been injured for most of the season. And then Ewan Doyle, disappointing season for Doyle, definitely. I've decided to give him a 4 out of 10. I thought he was disappointing, really, this season, and, you know, he definitely should have scored more. He's had quite a few chances. I think he scored 2 goals for us this season. Not really what we're looking for in a striker, if I'm being honest. And then Jordan Hugo, guys. I was a bit of a doubter of Jordan Hugo's abilities at the start of this season, really. You know, I always thought that, you know, he gets compared to, like, he gets called a few names, let's face it, now and again. And, you know, his touch is a bit off, his finishing's a bit off. But really, if you look back at things, he scored some absolutely massive goals for us this season. You know, he scored against 2 local rivals for us. He scored against both Bolton and Blackburn. So I had to give Jordan Hugo a 6 out of 10 because I thought he's been pretty solid this season. At times, you know, he's done well for, you know, what his abilities are, in my opinion. So for that reason, I've given him a 6 out of 10. So guys, there are my ratings for the Preston players. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with any of them. I'd be very interested to know, guys. And what I've done for you guys to finish off this video, I basically put together a little bit of a montage of some of my vlogs from this season, and so it's some of the nicer moments from this season as a whole, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Your support lately, even though I've not been that regular with my uploads lately, your support has still been absolutely insane on all my videos lately, and so I really can't thank you guys enough. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers at the moment, so to reach that soon would just blow my mind absolutely. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you do smash the like on this video. It really does help me out. Also, subscribe if you are new around here. Make sure you check out all links in the description down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.